Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have 6 articles for you here in this episode. It'll be the final episode this morning. Of course, are in the description of the video for your convenience. I know that we have audio working properly. I'll go ahead and jump right on into them. I'm here to catch up to me. Waiting for the YouTube delay to kick in. So, shouldn't be much longer. There we go. We got it going. All right. The first one I have is off of BizPac Review. It says, college says students who outed loony anti-Trump professor has to apologize. Say no way. The California college freshman who secretly recorded an instructor ranting against President Donald Trump now finds himself in a world of hurt, but quits. Orange Coast human sexuality instructor Olga Perez Stable Cox Trump's election as an act of terrorism and called the president a white supremacist during one of her classes. A student art, I think that should be at. If I don't mess them up bad enough, they type them up wrong. Caleb O'Neill, a student at the Costa Mesa School, was so offended by her ranting that he recorded and posted them to his Facebook page. And that's when his troubles began. Disciplining Cox for her outrageous conduct, the school's administration went after O'Neill for surreptitious recording. He was suspended from class and ordered to write both a letter of apology to Cox and 3-page essay on the incident to the school. Surrender, O'Neill has opted to appeal that decision, the Orange County Register reported publicly at a press conference Wednesday, where he was flanked as well as like-minded students who were equally appalled by Cox's over-the-top. They are demanding a reversal of the college's penalty and want to see policy that will protect students from university staff. I pulled my phone out because I was honestly scared that I would have with my grades because she knew I was a Trump supporter, O'Neill told the press. I thought Olga was a good teacher in the beginning. He felt threatened when she went off on the president a week after his election. The sanctions lodged against O'Neill are excessive and discriminatory, said Bill Becker, O'Neill's attorney, president, founder, and general counselor of Freedom X, a nonprofit preserving religious and conservative freedom of expression. Orange County Republican Chairman Fred M. Whitaker agreed and said that the administration's decision clearly affirms for one of our nation's most cherished of speech. O'Neill said Coast College, because of its competitive row his boat to a different college. Gently down that stream. Next one here, it's off of BizPac Review. It says Dem party still on road to destruction even after it collapsed as a political force. Democratic Party has lost much political power that it has It has been reduced to controlling only 5 of our 50 states. It is so bad. Glen Greenwald insists that the Democratic Party has collapsed force. Greenwald, a writer for the Intercept newspaper, says Democrats are moving forward with an empty policy of calling Trump every name in the book, all while address the reasons why they have become a minority party. During an interview with Fox News, Tucker Carlson went on to say that the Democrats are not offering a positive message and have made no attempt at all to reach out to the Rust Belt. Blow to Hillary Clinton White House. Even when the Democrats do approach the reasons they lost, they retract in the face of hard left-wing pressure. Carlson cited the recent situation surrounding a comment made by Democrat National Committee Chairman candidate Tom Perez, Obama's former labor secretary, who said that the past Democratic primary was rigged in favor of Hillary Clinton and promised to restore transparency to the DNC. But as liberal pressure mounted against his comment, Perez rushed to apologize for saying it, despite that he was absolutely right. After all, former DNC chief Debbie Wasserman Schultz on her post as head of the party machinery because she was part of the cabal to torpedo the primary campaign of Bernie Sanders. Say that the party has collapsed as national political force, as in having no say at were able to call it a constitutional convention to make changes to the U.S. Constitution. Carlson, that it takes 2/3 of the state legislators to approve any changes to the Constitution, but since Democrats only control 5 states, having no power to oppose Republican changes. Greenwald charged the Dem Party signs of any, but instead focuses on Russian narrative and nitpicking everything Trump does or doesn't do. Noted that the party has completely failed to take stock of itself and hold autopsies to explain why it has collapsed the way it has. What we have here is off of Western journalism. For the hamster, there we go. Host of MSNBC's Morning Joe says Kellyanne Conway no longer credible. Counselor Kellyanne Conway, cooperate, there we go, is no longer credible. Mika Burtz announced Wednesday that she has banned Conway from appearing on the MSNBC's Morning Joe. The co-host said she doesn't believe in fake news and Conway was not accurate enough for her standards. On these shows, we know for a fact that she tries to book herself on this show, Berensky said. I don't believe in fake news or information that's not true, and every time I see her on television, something is askew or off or incorrect. Co-host Joe Scarborough offered a different theme, saying Conway was so far removed from what was going on in Trump White House that she was merely ill-informed. I don't even think she's saying things she knows to be untrue. She's just saying things just to get in front of a TV set and prove her relevance because behind the scenes in these meetings, he said. Scarborough had been harsher Tuesday in his assessment of Conway, who was President Donald Trump's campaign manager. Goes out, she says whatever she wants to say, back in, and they have to clean it up. She will lie, as she does every time the truth comes out. She will say she's being victimized, Scarborough said. Conway, much like her boss, took to Twitter to reply Conway bashing in the media. And Kellyanne tweets, I serve POTUS. His message is my message. His goals are my goals. Uninformed chatter doesn't matter. Polls, leader, presidential, Twitter.com, all hashtags. Expressed his dissatisfaction with the media Wednesday morning. He tweeted, the fake news media is going crazy with their conspiracy theories and blind hatred. BBC at CNN, at Fox and Friends is great. Continues, it says Conway, who has been an outspoken defender of Trump, a hot seat this week for saying former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn had Trump's confidence and then resign, only to have White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer tell the media hours later that Trump had asked Flynn to resign. The article is off of Liberty Writers, and it says, just stabbed America in the back. Did changes everything. Has because he knows that it's important that you get along with other world leaders, but don't for weakness. What Russia did will change their relationship for sure. Russia has secretly deployed a missile and officials argue violates a key arms treaty. Deploying the missile breaks the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty signed in 1987 during the Cold War. Presents a diplomatic challenge for our president, especially since any decision made will likely be leaked. The missiles in 2014 under Obama, but President Obama refused to act. He omitted when this story is reported in the mainstream media. Deployment also comes at the same time Russian spy ship was spotted patrolling off the east coast of the United States. It was in international water 70 miles off the coast of Delaware and heading north at. If Obama would have done his job and put this to an end in 2014, Trump wouldn't even have to deal with this failure that President Trump has to clean up. The next article is off of Western Journalism. Waiting on the hamster. Trump calls for supplies to keep executive orders flowing. President Donald Trump made it clear with his press conference Thursday that his efforts to reshape government rails, but it has developed a shortage of something vital to implement the executive orders Trump is using to dismantle regulations and jumpstart new policy. Pens. Ever since Trump took office on January the 20th, he's been signing executive orders and legislation and giving away the pens as souvenirs to various legislators or staff members. Going to need some more pens, by the way, Trump said on the inauguration days he signed nominations and executive orders. AT Cross Company, I'll remember Cross Pens, applied ceremonial pens for several presidents, beginning with the Ford administration, including former President Barack Obama. Trump's in that he prefers gold-plated over the chrome-plated ones Obama used. Shipped out 350 pens for Trump's use, said company spokesman Andy Voss. Absolutely, positively have to have them by Friday, Voss said. My guess is he's running low. Makes waves with Voss is more focused on what Trump uses to write his name. No matter whether the president or a Democrat, just having the presidents using our pens is pretty cool, Voss said. I'd much rather him use our pens than somebody else's. Presumably, Trump will be needing more pens because there are more executive orders in the works. Trump foreshadowed form of new executive order would be issued to implement some of the policy aspects of the January 27th order, which the courts have refused to allow to be implemented. Trump also expected to sign several executive orders that make changes to the Environmental Protection Agency as a candidate to rein in the agency. Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt, EPA, is expected to be confirmed by the Senate on Friday. The article that I have for you today, and it says tax war, multi-billion-pound fight against U.S. border levies. The European Union for the largest ever tax war as the United States pushes ahead with plans to overhaul the corporate system. as well as those from U.S. trading partners, are preparing to challenge the proposals, which would tax U.S. companies' domestic sales tax imports would tax U.S. companies' domestic sales and imports while exempting their exports. The challenge would mark the biggest case in the World Trade Organization's, or WTO, history, with potential £9 billion annual cost. The plan has been put forward by Texas Republican Kevin Brady and its House Speaker Paul Ryan, with Donald Trump being pushed to support it. Advisors have praised it, expressing what they see as the unfair treatment tax systems such as the U.S. U.S. retailers, oil refiners, and other industries which rely on imported goods or materials have put up stiff resistance to the plan. Tax experts have said if the plan was adopted, it would be the biggest shakeup of global system years. Rules for border adjustments state they are permitted for consumption-based taxes, but not income taxes, making the U.S. proposal of its kind globally. Jacuri Katainen, the European Commission Vice President, said the EU afraid of taking action against the U.S. over the border tax proposal or the implementation of any other arbitrary. He added Europe ideally wanted to avoid a trade war with the U.S. because it would be disastrous for the global economy. Putin told the Financial Times, if somebody is behaving against us or against international rules in trade, then we have our own mechanisms to react. We have arrangements within the EU, part of the global arrangement like the WTO, and we want to respect the global rule base when it comes to trade. Responded to a potential EU legal challenge against the U.S. with open arms. He said, we expect other countries to challenge this because they have now. Him and Mr. Ryan believe the U.S. is at a disadvantage because of this current corporate income tax, which means it cannot make border adjustments like other countries can. He added, as a result, today, made in America products are at a tax disadvantage here in America and abroad as well. Chad Brown, an expert on WTO trade disputes at the Peterson Institute for International Economics, said US lost a challenge against it, the country would be forced to pay 309 billion euros, or pounds, I guess it is. He said all U.S. trading partners retaliate to the tune of $385 billion, according to prior WTO calculations. The dispute on record is $4 billion. This case is potentially 100 times bigger. Mr. Brady said he wanted to make sure the reforms abided by global trading rules. He said this will be written in a way that WTO consistent and compliant, and we will prevail in any challenge that they bring. Have been raised over whether that is possible with the proposal put forward. An official at Geneva said, our first assessment is definitely not going to be compatible with the WTO. Interesting to watch to see how that all pans out. Yeah, today, if I get breaking news, of course, and give it a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to let me know. Share it on your social media so everybody gets to hear the news, and that way you'll stay informed. Have a great day.